So this video, I will just briefly go over your SUA reference book, chapter 2, the flow charting. Flow charting is super important in your SUA project, so please pay attention. Flow charts are visualizations of business processes. So basically, flow charts are tools for documenting the system and also description of the system. Basically, you want to document what your system is doing. You can use flow charts. And the key elements of the flow charts include the origin and disposition of every document and record in the system. So you have to include the origin and disposition of all your document and record in the system, except for detailed journals and ledgers. You just need to show, you need to record in the journal and you need to post it in the ledger, but you don't have to show in the flowchart. Flowcharts that do not show the what's being posted to journals and ledgers. The second element are all the processes that takes place. For example, in the process, we need to attach a purchase order to a copy of sales invoice, and we should state this in the flowchart. Okay, so all the processes. And second element are the people. So the department and person who perform this process, and then we need to show in the flowchart. And the fourth one is internal control method. So we will cover detail or more comprehensive internal control concept in chapter 13. But here we wanted to show you using the SUA example to show you what are some of the internal control approach. So the internal controls usually are grouped into 3 categories. Separation of duties. So we'll explain this later more, but you can see that in this example. Authorizations and approvals, and independent checks. So basically for SUA, you will see these 3 categories of internal control. Okay? The key elements of flowcharts are very important. 4 elements. You have to show where the process starts and where to dispose the document and record. You have to show all the processes and then the people who perform the process and also the internal control. The techniques used in flowcharting, we use symbols. Okay, so they have, next slides I will show you. The flowcharting system uses specific symbols, standard symbols to represent documents, records, and processing actions. We also use the flow lines, you will see again immediately, to connect documents and processing actions. Usually the flow line goes from the top to the bottom, mostly with arrows, and across from left to the right. And we don't want the flow line to cross too much, so cross as infrequently as possible. And you can have solid lines. So solid lines means the flow of the physical document, like how the invoice, the sales invoice flow in the system. And the dotted lines represent flow of information. So if there's a dotted line here, means that the physical documentation, the document will not flow, just the information. Okay, so right now just want to give you some idea. And then we can see the example, the symbol of the flowchart. So you can see here on your left of the slides are the common symbols for the flowcharting symbols. They have symbols for document, manual operation process, terminator, and etc. So we can see that this type of shape means document. Okay, so I'm going to use your SUA sales cycle to explain the symbol. So if you see like this, it's like rectangle, but it's not so much rectangle. That means that you need to prepare a document. For example, you see in this cycle, you can see here, we have to either, we have to prepare the purchase order. And in this case, we have a purchase order coming from customer. So you have to have the document ready in order for you to proceed in the process. And over here, after get the purchase order from the customer, we pick the item from inventories and then prepare what is called bill of lading. We will talk about it. So bill of lading here, see, this is a step that you need to prepare document. This is also a step you need to prepare document, and then you need to and it says what document you need to prepare. In here, you need to prepare bill of lading, which is a shipping document that you will see in the SUA. And over here, you can also see with the shape here, you will see some document need to be prepared, meaning that you need to fill out the realistic document in your packet and then complete it and then submit it if I ask you to do so. So that is a symbol for document. So next, when you see this shape here, and that means it's a process action. You need to take some sort of action. So you can see here, this is a trapezoid here and upside down trapezoid. That means that you need to take some sort of actions. And in here, you can see that you need to pick goods from inventory, okay, and fulfill the order. This would be a process action to be taken. This would be a process action, process action, process action. Okay, so whenever you see this trapezoid, that means process, represent the process. So next you see rectangular but with round side. And this means that is either a beginning of the process or the beginning of the process or the ending of one process. So this means that, okay, the whole process, the cycle is ended here. So beginning or ending. And for us, when you see here, this step, we don't need anything for our SUA assignment. And this triangle here is where the offline storage for the document and the record. So where the document and record should go to the storage. So this is the storage for document and record. And for our purpose, we skip that step, so we don't need to do anything. So basically, in this process, we need to put a sales invoice to a storage. Okay, here it's very important. Whenever you see this rhombus here, that means accounting, you need to do something with accounting, okay? So the rhombus means that you either need to record a journal or to post it to ledger. So you have to do some accounting thing here. That is what rhombus means. Journal or ledger symbol means this, okay? So here we need to post it, record it in journals and post it to ledgers. And this shape here, diamond shape here, means that a decision needs to be done. Like you can follow the decision tree. If this is a cash sale, you go to this step. And if it's a credit sale, you go to this step, okay? Again, for our purpose, in here, we don't really need to submit anything for this step. But you should see whenever you see a diamond, and that means a decision needs to be made. All right, here is annotation. when you see this, this is for note, descriptive comments for to explain the action. Okay, you can see like description comments or explanatory notes as clarification. And we need to do something, take appropriate actions. For example, here, Cremo need to approve this credit and initial approval on customer purchase order. So for credit sales. So this is something you will see in your assignment. So the circle here with the numbers, and that means the connector. So when you see there are two types of connector, one is the round circle, numbered circle. Here is the connection shows up on the same page. See here, okay? So on the same page here. So this, it just means that, we have to, this is a connector for the sales cycle for the Warren Sports. And then the process not ended comes here, and then you need to go to here to continue this process. This is an on-page connector. And next one is an off-page connector. See here, to be on page 4. So, and in our case, this is this symbol is the off-page connector, meaning that the process comes from the part A on page 21, and here goes to page 19 to B. Okay, so on the page 19 you will see another connector here. So these are all the symbols that we will encounter in the project. So here is a process, like I'm just showing you the connectors. Okay, so actually this is to A, this goes to the cash cell, goes to the page 18 to part A there. Go back, you'll see this is from 21, and this is what 21 shows. Okay, and lastly, it's the flow lines, but I already talked about it. We have solid line, means flow of documents and record. Dotted line means flow of information. You see here, some information flows by recording in the journals and ledgers. So when you do your SUA, always refer to flow charts for your first assignment. Not so much for number 2 and number 3. It's mainly so the flow chart, you need flow chart in your first assignment. That's it.